Hi Aquarius, welcome to your year ahead forecast with me, Raphael Ray from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. So once again, for those of you that look at your moon and sun sign and ascendant, you will see that I've had a costume change. I'm totally embracing this changing of all kinds of images this year. Without further ado, let's go straight into it. I would like to bring, firstly I would like to say to all of you actually, thank you so much for all of your continued support. It means the absolute world, and I'm hoping that this year Radiant Reality is going to go from strength to strength, and it's all because of you guys. So I just would like to bless both of these decks with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I hope that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good this 2018. So let's see what the month of January has in store for us, because as you know, I am an Aquarius. Okay, so first out, the sun. Could we even ask for any more? And as many of you know, when you get the sun card as the first card out, I don't pull any more cards. So for the month of January, and for the start of the year, we have the sun card. What is the sun? It is the most powerful stellar being in our entire universe. It's what our entire solar system revolves around, and it relates to joy, optimism, love, life, the love of life, and it relates to all things that are special, all things of purity as well, because nothing can hide in the light. There's no, there's no shadows. When the sun shines on you, you are seen full force. But more importantly, it's like the sun in the zodiac when we're talking about astrology. When the sun is in your sign, you get your vitality back. When the sun is in your sign, you get your warmth, you get your brilliance, your best ideas, all of this stuff. Obviously, Mercury has a big part to play when it comes to your ideas, but the sun shining on you gives you the ability to become and be the best that you possibly can. And this month, January of 2018, which is, by the way, check out my numerology for the year 2018, it's an 11 year, which is the only master number in the zodiac, which is us, Aquarius, number 11. And the vibration of this year is one of purity, it's one of brilliance, and it's about bringing esoteric and occult knowledge into the world and shining and shedding light on it. The month of January allows us to be ourselves like never before. Why do I say this? Because there's a lot of stuff happening in a big thing, should I say, happening in our 12th house at the moment. And this is going to happen for the next 2.5 years, but what a way to start it. This is going to be very much about, because Saturn moved into our 12th house, this is going to be about us taking responsibility for our spirituality, taking responsibility for our baggage, delving into it and saying, you know what, that no longer has a hold on me and I choose to let it go. What a way to start the year. January looks like a time of promotions. It looks like a time that you're going to be blessed. It looks like a time when spontaneous brilliance may well take you. Keep a pen and a pad handy in the month of January. And more importantly, just remember, this is the first card out for the entire year. And this is going to, this is going to colour the whole year for us. This can be a very bright, optimistic year. It can be a year where you are seen for who you truly are. But don't forget that can work against you as well. For those of you that are planning to use that energy in a subversive manner, just remember, when all things are under the sun, there are 3 things that may not long stay hidden: the sun, the moon and the truth. And that means that you have to keep your integrity this year. You have to make sure that you show up in the best possible way for yourself and for others. And more importantly, you have to be true and honest to the purest nature of yourself and everything that you put out into the world. What a way to start the year. Look at that. Just... Okay, so the month of February. For those of you that are in January, happy birthday. For those of you that are in the month of February, like myself, happy birthday. Okay, so February, 9 of Wands and the 6 of Pentacles. Interesting set of cards here, actually. So the 9 of Wands talks about speaking up. Do not allow yourself in the month of February to be silenced. Do not allow anybody to make you feel like your opinion or your give you like a kind of allegory. Sometimes the trials and tribulations that we face in our own lives, when we get to the end of them, we feel a little bit battered and bruised, just like the soldier on the Nine of Wands. And sometimes it's not necessarily about somebody nursing your wounds for you, it's just allowing you to say, this is how I feel because of the experiences that I've had. In some way, shape or form, somebody has held back from that from you, or somebody has not given you the space or the time to express how you feel about something. And in the month of February, you get that chance, you get that. And why do I say that? The Six of Pentacles. I usually see this, although it can be physical debts repaid and it can be charity and all things of, I actually see this more as a card of karmic debt. And this to me says that in the month of February you're going to get your chance to speak up and say, you know what, I suffered this injustice, I've been through this experience, and I need to express how I feel about that. I need to talk about what it is that I've been through. I need to talk about how I feel about the institution or the people. You know, this could be colleagues at work, it could be a work situation, it could be a family situation, it could be a financial situation where you lent money to somebody and it left you out of pocket. And then it finally comes back to you in the month of February. But it looks to me like in the month of February you get your chance, you get your moment in the sun to speak on just how you actually feel about something. And the reason you're being given that chance is so that you can let it go. You don't get on the stage and then start blurting it all out and then just keep going and going and going. You get your chance to speak on it, you get your chance to express it, and then you have to let it go. That's what's really, really important. You must let it go. Once you've voiced it, once you've been open about it and everyone's had their say and everyone's had a good cry or whatever it takes, you then let it go. Because this is paving a foundation, I believe, for something better coming forward. So that's February. March. Let's see what March has in store for us. Okay. Temperance, beautiful, spiritual distillation, but more importantly, change. It's change of an alchemical nature. It's like you're transmuting this energy and you're stepping up with it. I love it when the cards do this, because it's like they're taking a journey. It's like they're telling the story of the year that we're going to have. So in March, you have the Temperance card, and the Temperance card is ruled by Sagittarius. Sagittarius is all about lofty ideals. It's about your belief structure. It's about your belief systems. It's about your far-reaching goals, your philosophies on life. What do you believe? Why do you believe it? And more importantly, how dedicated are you to those beliefs? Do they run and rule and ruin everything, or do they support, build, and cohabitate your space, your environment? Very, very interesting question, because the Temperance card talks about changing one thing into another. And I kind of see this as liberation. Why do I say that? Because you've then got the Eight of Swords. Now, the Eight of Swords is not a great card because it talks about constriction, confinement. It talks about us being trapped by something that we thought we were stuck with. Very, very similar to the Devil card. It's a very similar experience to that. Only the Devil's more powerful. Because it's more subconscious. Whereas the Eight of Swords is usually it's a situation that we feel constricted by, that we know we can change but we're refusing to. But then you have the Temperance card with this, and this tells me that in terms of this stuff that you let go in February, March is going to be a month where you really get fully and finally liberated. It's going to be like the shackles are taken off and you just have this ability to say, right, that's what I want, that's where I want to go, that's what I want to create this year, and then bang, it's like that's what the Angel of Temperance is giving you. And the interesting thing about this is she's got the fire, I say she, I see this angel as a female, I don't know why, I always have. She's got the fire triangle over her heart, which means that she's acting from pure source, from pure power of will. She's choosing to act. She doesn't react to anything. She makes very calculated and precise decisions through the will, you know, by sheer force of will. And then you've got the Eight of, and then she's got the Sun disc over the third eye, which means pure sight. It's almost like clairvoyance. And more importantly, it represents seeing the beauty in and of all things and understanding why you had to have certain experiences. The first quarter of the year to me looks very much like you're wrapping things up, like you're closing things down. And the reason you're able to do that is because the sun is shedding light on everything for you, and it's shedding light on the entire year. So these are not bad cards. In fact, they're not even difficult situations, if I'm honest. I think this is more just a case of you're doing, between now and March, we're just doing some real cleansing and clearing, and that's great, you know, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, the High Priestess for April. I love it's one of my favourites, as you guys know by now. And the King of Wands. So this is really interesting. The High Priestess talks about, it's the first gate that we pass through in life. This is us. This is how we are birthed into the world. It represents the mother. It represents the past. It represents hidden things coming to light. It represents secrets coming to be. Remember what I said to you about 3 things that may not long stay hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. And the High Priestess is also our intuition. This is about our psychic ability. It's about our intuitive power. It's about how we are able to respond to everything that happens to us in our life. But more importantly, that we are able to intuit everything that happens to us in our life. It's like, you know, when you go to a place and you're like, oh, you know, I've got deja vu. Have I been here before? No, the chances are you probably dreamt yourself being there. So when you arrive, you have this feeling of, oh, I've been here before. That's how, you know, that's one of the ways that psychic ability and psychic power works. And we're going to be experiencing, as an Aquarian collective, more of this stuff than ever across the board, regardless of your sign. But Aquarius is going to feel this probably the most this year, I would imagine. You know, especially with, like I said, Saturn in our 12th house, which is making us get really serious about what we believe in terms of spiritual, esoteric, and ESP, psychic phenomena, all of that stuff. So the High Priestess falls with the King of Wands. Like I said, she's all things intuitive. She's all things, and so, you know, vision, all kinds of prophetic vision is subjective because it's how we interpret what we see. The message may be very clear coming from source, but we're human beings. We're not, unless, you know, you're 100% enlightened, things tend to get a little bit murky. She represents the sign of Cancer and she represents the sign of the Moon. Now this is really interesting because my partner is a Leo, so the King of Wands would be a Leo, a Sagittarius, or an Aries. And you know, my partner also has a Cancer Moon, just like me. The funny thing is, I'm a Leo rising. So I'm reading this and I'm like, wow, so this could be either one of us or it could be both of us. The court cards usually represent, this could be a fire sign male, and this is somebody that is vibrant, dynamic, somebody that is spirited, somebody that's willful, somebody that can be a little bit of a big kid. I'm a Leo rising, I'll tell you all day long I can be a bit of a big kid, in the best way and sometimes in not such the best ways. But the way that I'm seeing this is this talks about hidden things revealed. So this is about somebody coming to you and divulging secrets. But more importantly, this is about somebody coming to you out of trust. In the month of April, I very much believe, because the King of Wands can also be a boss, and I very much believe that this could be about somebody trusting you with information. It could be somebody coming forward and saying, look, I've got this idea that I would like to take you on board with me for. I would like to offer you a different position. I don't know why I feel this falls in the work sector, because the wands, you know, wands aren't really to do with your work. They are to do with what you do and your ideas and the sparks of your ideas. But I kind of feel like this is an authority figure divulging information to you and saying, look, you know, this is not allowed to be common knowledge, but I'm trusting you with this. I kind of feel like you're going to be asked to take on board new methodologies or new ways of doing things, and hidden things come into light. You know, this is very much going to be about you settling into some of the things that you are told and some of the things that you are trusted with. In some respects, this could be some of you, you know, taking a step into a different department. So very, very exciting month, April. You have to let me know how this one plays out, because I'm kind of a bit like, Alright, so May. What does May have in store for us? Death, and the Five of Swords. Okay, so, you know, not the easiest of couplets, but death brings us transformation. Death brings us the end of an old cycle and the beginning of a new one. And it also allows us to make real change. Because the Death card is ruled by Scorpio, it talks about all the taboos of life. Death, sex, psychology, like deep psychology about, you know, who we are in the subconscious realm. How the subconscious realm, you know, what the makeup of your subconscious realm is. It's a very, very interesting card, the Death card, because it's so broad in its application. Just like the 8th house in astrology is very, very broad in its application. You know, it's huge. The Death card is also number 13, and 13 is a very powerful number in occult circles, in occult, you know, and it's a very powerful number in general. It's the original number for a coven of witches. Actually, a lot of people say like, oh, it's the number 12. Actually, it isn't. It was always 13, and 13 then got a bad rap because of the church and blah, blah, blah. But I digress. So May brings us the chance to really transform something. And unfortunately, the saying that's coming to mind at the moment is you've got to break a few eggs to make an omelette. So why do I say that? Because you've got the Five of Swords here. The Five of Swords is fractious communication. It's fraught communication, and it usually shows up for us when we have an experience of we are fighting for something and we fight really hard for it. The thing that I have to say, and I say this to everybody, when I see the Five of Swords, it's really, really important that you don't allow any situation that you find yourself in to change who you are at a fundamental level. What do I mean by that? Sometimes we will fight so hard for something because we believe in it so deeply that we will then override what we would or wouldn't normally do. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is it really worth compromising who you are at a soul level just to win a battle? Just to win a battle of wills, or to, you know, is it really worth you letting something or somebody go just for the sake of saying, I'm right and I'm sticking to that right? So the month of May brings you a chance to really change and transform your communication style, and it also allows you to take on board the way that other people do things. And it will also reveal to us, certainly in the month of May, just how we communicate and what may need to change in that realm. June. What does the month of June have in store for Aquarius? Six of Wands, beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and the Page of Cups. This is great. So the Six of Wands is victory. It's the yes, it's the you coming home after you've put the effort in. For a lot of you, this is going to be about passing of exams. It's going to be about a yes for something that you've put into motion. For a lot of us, it's also going to be something of a creative nature, whether it's an idea that you finally, you know, got down on paper and are now ready to start implementing, whether it's an artistic pursuit, so drama, dance, art itself, drawing, painting, music, you know, singing, joining a choir. It could be any one of those things, but this is something that you are now ready to be seen for. This is something culminating that you can now start to really dedicate yourself to. And I say that because, like I said, the Six of Wands is a beautiful card. It's a yes card. If you have a yes/no question for the month of May, the answer is yes. It's an absolute 100% yes, because you have the victory for it. You have the success. This is you enjoying your success. Well done. Welcome home. It's all of that kind of stuff. It's that kind of energy. And the Page of Cups, it could be a water sign child as well. For some of you, I know for me actually, in the month of May, I will be getting a new niece or nephew. So I'm really, really excited about that. So, you know, it's going to be a happy, healthy baby according to the cards, and I'm really, really chuffed about that. I've got another little baby in the family to spoil. So wonderful. On a personal note, This could very much talk about like I said, the culmination of exams, getting the yes, being told that actually you're on the right track to succeeding in what it is that you want to do. One of my courses of study culminates in June, so I'm very, very excited about that. And it looks like all things go really, really well, so I'm really excited. Also, like I said, for those of you that are in artistic pursuits or have those kind of dreams or aspirations, May is the month to get going. And it also asks you to be honest about what it is that you truly want. To be really honest about what it is that you truly want. Because once you've had this experience of being able to clear out how you communicate and what you communicate, when and why, you can then start to really focus on what it is that you want to bring into your life next. And that can only be a good thing. July. What does July have in... Ooh, it's all going on. Let's see. Alright. So the Four of Pentacles and the World card. Okay, so this is a new era of finance. Why do I say that? Very, very interesting set of cards here as well. So I'm going to show you something with the numerology. This is the Four of Pentacles, and although this is card number 21, as many of you know by now, it's actually the 22nd Major Arcana card. 2 and 2 gives you 4. So I say this is a new era of finance. So the Four of Pentacles talks about our need for stability, our need for holding on to things. Sometimes people say it can be a card of hoarding, and sometimes people can say it can be a card of being stuck or being blinded by just what you can see. And I don't believe that. This represents a time sequence. It can be 4 days, 4 weeks, 4 months, or 4 years, or even the number 44. But for me, especially with the World card there, this talks about new ways of doing things in terms of finance. I kind of see that after your success or your victory in May, you then start to find yourself in a position of being able to generate more money. So whatever it is that culminates in the month of May gives you the ability to generate more finance, to generate more prosperity. Why do I say that? Because this guy knows how to budget, he knows how to create and generate, and more importantly, he knows how to sustain wealth. That's what the number 4 represents, because it is the number of Saturn, which is really, really interesting as well, because then you've got the World card, which represents the planet Saturn. It represents a brand new era. Saturn's just come into Capricorn. Saturn is at home. You know, it's done its entire revolution around the sun to find it. Oh. You know, it's done its entire revolution around the sun to come home. And by helping us clear out and shed light on many things in our lives, we're coming into this liberation. You know, so far, a lot of people would say, oh, actually, these cards aren't great. Actually, I would beg to differ. Because it's like all of the difficult experiences, all of the things that would actually potentially be roadblocks and hold us back, are all being cleared out. You know, and not even necessarily in cataclysmic ways, which is really, really great. Finance, prosperity, budgeting, knowing how to use money, knowing how to get more from the money that you have. And then the World card, Master Builder, the number 22. What you want to create, how you want to create it, the energy and the power to create what it is that you want in your life. That's really, really special, because it means that the month of July, finances are just going to explode, and they're going to change drastically. It's like, they're not bad at all here, actually. But then in the month of July, they just seem to take off and explode and expand. And in big part, thanks to the inner and personal work that you're doing, and the exams that you pass. You know, and whether any of you are taking exams, you know, some people might say, oh, I'm not taking any exams, or, you know, I'm not even doing a course of study. Not everything is academic. Sometimes life itself is the school that we go through. Okay, August. What does August 2018 have in store for us? The Moon and the Queen of Pentacles. So this is a woman from the past coming back to help us, and it's interesting that you've got the Queen of Pentacles there, because this is you. I'm just going to go right into this because this is really interesting for me. So the Moon card represents our past, it represents where we have been, what we have done, it represents the past in our lives, and it also represents our past lives themselves. It represents your intuition, it represents your personal power, it represents your ability to use your instincts to find the best things for yourself. You know, like whether they're opportunities, whether they are moments of don't cross the road at this moment and then a car comes flying right in the corner. You know, it's another card of intuition, but it's the instinct. Whereas the High Priestess is very much about the intuition on a spiritual level and prophecy and, you know, all of those things like hidden knowledge. The Moon card is the instinctual aspect of the human being. You know, that part where your hair stands on end before the lightning comes, or, you know, where you get a feeling in your chest and then suddenly somebody comes bursting through the door and gives you some, you know, amazing or like, oh my gosh, news. Or, you know, this is about the instinct, it's about what you feel in the atmosphere. Because all of us, you know, are affected by the moon. Every single human being. We're 70% water. The moon controls all of the water on the planet. Hair growth cycle speeds up on the run up to the full moon. We bleed more at the time of full moon. You know, like the lunar cycle and the human being is. I mean, I could create a 24-hour video on that alone because the links are just startling. They really are. Yeah. So the Moon card is actually ruled by Pisces. And it talks about our past, it talks about, and it's not the hidden past, this is the past that we know. It's because, you know, the moon reflects the light of the sun, and this is about the past that we know, it's about things that we know. And then you've got the Queen of Pentacles. Who is the Queen of Pentacles? An earth sign female. She would be a Taurus, a Capricorn, or a Virgo. This is somebody that's very smart, very intelligent, somebody that's hard-working, somebody that's very diligent. This woman knows how to budget. She knows how to create something from nothing. She is literally the Earth Mother. That is who the Queen of Pentacles is. You know, she's looking at the pentacle and she's saying, this is what I am able to create, something that is firm, solid and concrete. And this is this person coming back into your life. I personally will be reaching out to a specific somebody, and I really hope that she watches this video. I'm going to probably do it before August, but it looks like somebody of a mentor kind of figure, somebody that you have worked with in the past, somebody that you have previously crossed paths with, you will be crossing paths with again in August. And you will be, you know, this month you guys will be reminiscing and you will be creating something of lasting value that is mutually beneficial for the two of you. Very, very, very excited. August. September. What does September have in store for us? Okay. The Five of Wands, lots of people talking, lots of people in different places, and then you've got the Emperor. So this is great. So the Five of Wands talks about groups getting together. It talks about people talking about things, cooperating, collaborating, getting together. Lots of people talking about everything and anything all in one space. So the month of September is going to be very, very busy for you guys. For us guys. And I kind of see this as you are going to be the voice of reason. I don't necessarily see this as being a bad experience, but I do see it being one that is intense. You've got a lot of people talking about everything, you've got a lot of people, some people shouting over each other, and it's not because there's anything awful going on, it's because everybody's got something to say, everybody's got something that they want to add, everybody's got, you know, a way of doing this, we can do this, this is what we should do, da, 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 da. And it's like, da, 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 like, you know, everybody's got their bloody spoon in the pot, and then Aquarius is doing the thing that the Emperor would do, establishing some kind of order out of the chaos and saying, enough! We are all right, we all have a chance and an opportunity to speak, and this is what we need to do. You have your say, you have your say, this is how we proceed. Is everybody happy with that? Yes, 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 no, what are you not happy about? Da, da, da. You know, it's like you become an authority in your group sectors, in the family, in the home, in the, you know, within your friends, within the broader scope of the groups and the group dynamics that we interact with in the month of September. We become the authority because that's who the Emperor is. You know, this could be, and it's usually institutions as well. It's like schools, universities. It's, you know, all kinds of establishments. It also represents commitment as well, you know, about what we commit ourselves to and what we decide to uphold, because it's ruled by Aries, and therefore it's the soldier. You know, the Emperor isn't just a ruler. He's actually, you know, the reason an emperor was an emperor is because they would be the sort of person that would be at the front of the battle, on the battlefield with everybody. That's how they earned the respect of their empire. That's how they became the emperor, by being on the battlefield with the people that were fighting for them and for their cause. And this is kind of what we're going to be doing in the month of September. We'll be there standing up, showing up, being there, you know, being present and becoming the authority for it. The voice of reason in the maddening crowd, as they say. Very, very exciting. It's going to be a busy year for us, I really believe, actually. Okay, ooh, itchy news. October, the Hanged Man, awesome. So after all of this heavy, intense period, we get a rest, we get a slowdown, and the Hermit, really interesting. So the Hanged Man, Pisces or Neptune, more importantly, is that moment where we get to go. It's actually a card of enlightenment, and so is the Hermit in some ways, shapes or forms, and these are actually quite complementary. And I will explain why in a moment. So this card, the Hanged Man, is linked to Neptune and Pisces, and the Hermit is Virgo, you know, which is actually, if I'm not mistaken, the direct opposite. You know, they work in dual and in tandem, which is interesting. But the Hanged Man is that slowdown. The Hanged Man is where we get to go, where we get to take stock of everything, and where we actually just say, you know what, I'm not doing anything else, I'm just going to allow things and people to be as they are. And that is how we get to enlightenment. And I always say this when this card comes up. This card it's about enlightenment, but the way that we reach enlightenment is through acceptance and understanding. When you accept your situation, and if you look at him, he looks quite happy there, doesn't he? He's like, well, yeah, I'm hanging upside down by a tree by one leg, but then he's got this glow around his head. This is the Christ consciousness, which is why it's got its links to Pisces. You know, this is about the enlightenment and the enlightenment of acceptance. When you can accept your situation and say, okay, it is what it is, what do I do from here? Well, I can't do anything, so I just have to accept it. Once you accept something, that's when you can truly understand it. You can truly pick it apart. For those of you that have seen Watchmen, the big blue guy, Dr. Manhattan, this is his card. That would be his experience. Because he's able to completely detach from everything, to see it as it is, to split it all apart, see all the pieces, and then bring it all back together. And by doing that, by going through that process of acceptance and then understanding, you then evolve, you then become enlightened because you understand everything. It's a 3-step process and not one step of that can be missed. So the month of October brings us the ability to really just accept the way that things are. And then that leads us on some kind of journey. It then makes us say, right, okay, so where do I go from here? Now that I understand this stuff, now that I know this, now that I have this new enlightened or evolved understanding of my life and the people in it, what do I do? Where do I go from here? And the Hermit card is about that. It's about taking the gems of what you've learned and going on a quest to use that information to get to something or somewhere better and come out a completely different being, you know. And the Hermit represents a wizard. Wizards would often, as I did, I spent most of my 17 to 21 in fields, in, you know, isolating myself and going for meditation trips and God knows what, and any of my friends will vouch for that. I was a bit of an oddball, but whatever. November. What does November have in store for us? The Two of Wands, beautiful, stunning, and the Ace of Swords. The Two of Wands and the Ace of Swords, this is a promotion. In the month of November, we are going to be finding ourselves interacting with very affluent people. We're going to find ourselves rubbing shoulders with big wigs. We're going to find ourselves surrounded by people that represent the kind of life that we can have. We're going to find ourselves, and it's interesting because you go on this quest, you decide, okay, where do I go from here? Well, what you step into in the month of November is a brand new cycle, not just of finances but of surroundings as well. The only thing that you will be faced with, interesting, because you see this guy here on the Two of Wands, he's got the world in his hand, that's what he's aspiring to and aiming to, which brings you into contact with new places, but more importantly it brings you into contact with new people, and these are usually people that are very affluent, people that are of an elevated status, people that have more access to resources, if you want to put it that way, wealthier people, more connected people, people that are affluent. And then you've got the Ace of Swords, and the Ace of Swords is about making a decision. He's got one foot in the past and he's got one foot in the future with the world in his hand. What are you going to choose? Are you going to choose everything that you already know, that you've already had, or are you going to choose something better? And the reason I say that is because I feel this relates to your work, to how you're seen in the world. There's going to be an opportunity that presents itself in the month of November, and it's going to be up to you. You can take it and you can run with it as hard and as fast as possible, and it will take you to heights that you have never dreamed of, or you can stay in the comfortable little bubble that you have. Nobody can make that decision for us. We have to make it ourselves. The Ace of Swords, the Ace and Swords is all to do with air. Aquarius is an air sign. Going to have a decision to make this year in November, and it's going to be a big decision. What you choose can only be up to you. Okay, and then finally, December. It's my really poor attempt at French. Ooh. Okay, so we've got one out, and then, oh, stunning, look at that, the Chariot. So we make our decision, we decide to take a journey in October. November we're presented with a decision, a possible promotion, a possible move, a move for a job or something like that. And then we get this, the Six of Swords and the Chariot card. The Six of Swords represents the journey that is taken, the physical journey that you will have to take after you make this decision. And this is you going overseas, this is you travelling somewhere, it's going somewhere new, somewhere different, some new pastures. And it's a place that is going to have and hold and support you. Why do I say that? Because you've got the Chariot card. And the Chariot is success, it's victory. The Six of Wands is success and victory. But the Seven, the Chariot, that's ultimate success. It's ultimate, this is where I'm going, this is what I want from my life. This is you stepping into the new era and succeeding because of it. This is you stepping into a brand new life and experiencing things that you never ever thought that you would or could. These two coupled together tell me that it's going to come quickly. Once you make your final decisions in November, December's going to be a very, very fast month. It's like the whole year is actually quite slow and quite paced and moves at a decent rate. And then December, everything just goes like straight off, because the Chariot's a very quick card. It's a very powerful card. It's represented by Cancer, and it's also the exoskeleton of the crab. So, you know, and the one thing that I love about this card, you've got the two sphinxes there, the right and left hemispheres of the brain. It's the tangible and intangible worlds. It's bringing these two things. But the thing is, there's no reins on the Chariot. So he's steering this whole thing by the sheer force of will. And that is super, super powerful. That's what the Sun is trying to teach us. this year, that by holding on to nothing and being just like the naked kid on the horse, you can have everything. You don't hold on to anything. And by holding on to nothing, you then gain everything. It's one of those paradoxes. And it's interesting, you have like the Two of Wands here, 1 foot in the past, 1 foot in the future. The Ace of Swords asks you to make a decision. You make the decision to jump, to go, to move, to get going. And then the Chariot comes in and says, well done, you took a leap of faith, and now I'm going to carry you to your destination. What a year. Ooh, that's going to be a doozy! But it's going to be amazing as well. I am going to now pull a year card, a key to the year card. I'm using the Luminous Spirit Tarot, just the major cards from it to give us a key for the year card. Their simplicity is their power, and I absolutely love these. Bam! What do we get? Ah, I love it! I love it! I love it! This is why I love tarot. Look at this. We get the Magician card. Look at that, the Magician. The Sun card is number 19. 1 and 9 gives you 10. 10, we simplify, gives you the number 1. The Magician. Bam! This year can be anything and everything that you choose for it to be. All you have to do is walk the path. The universe has given us a blueprint for this year. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be totally worth it. The Magician card is about creating the life that you want. It's about using your sheer force of will, directing the power of the universe and bringing it down into it. And like literally look at that. You know, like steering by sheer force of will, the light and the dark, balancing these two potent energies of positive and negative, yin and yang. You know, you encompassing all of the power of the universe, which is the sun. And the Magician card does this. You know, he's holding a wand in one hand and he's pointing at the ground with the other. And that's why. You know, because he's drawing down the ultimate power of the source, what it is, and bringing it into manifest reality and creating something out of it. Creating what it is that he wants and what it is that he needs and desires. I mean, Aquarius, this year can be everything and anything that you hope for. It can be everything and anything that you wish for and dream of. All you have to do is have the guts to truly, truly go for it. I wish you an abundance of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance itself. Thank you so much for joining me. It's going to be a great year and I will see you very soon for more videos. Mwah.